very much. I can't see the audience, but because I want to ask you some questions, raise your hands, but I'll skip that, I guess. One of the first speakers on this stage here this morning said, chances to eat badly are everywhere. And he had a very good device to using artificial intelligence solving that problem. I'm going to talk about people that often suffer from not having food at all to eat from. I'm talking about the 1.2 billion people that are living off-grid, and over 3 billion people on Earth that still cook on the three-stone fire using wood to cook their meals. I would like to have asked whoever knows what WakaWaka means. I can't see you in the audience, but nobody does. It's a Swahili word that means shine bright. What I'm going to talk about to you is a solution using modern technology, using the sun, to solve the problem of energy poverty, which is the cause of poverty of many people, and the poverty is caused by the energy poverty. People not having the possibility to have good, decent, and affordable light in the evening after 6 p.m. when in the tropics sun sets at a very fast pace, and using kerosene candles, which are both very toxic, dangerous, and expensive, do not have the possibility to develop themselves, to work after hours, to have a social life after sunset. And these people having to use wood to cook their fires, especially the women, have to walk for miles and miles, for hours and hours, cutting trees, degrading the environment, and going back. Very dangerous for them to be alone on these long paths to these still existing woods that they can gather. So what are we deciding to do? I'm going to show you. When we started was from the fact that we discovered that 1.2 billion people still use kerosene in candles for lighting after dark, as I said. We wondered why, since there is enormous development in solar technology, where there is enormous development in LED lights, where there is enormous development in the quality of and the price drop of good battery power, why wouldn't we put that together, make a beautiful device, make it affordable to people to finally use the sun, which, especially in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, especially sub-Saharan degrees, sun is abundant. I'm from the Netherlands, where it's less abundant, but there it is, it's free, it is already distributed, which is a big problem in developing countries. Why wouldn't we start to produce something which enables them to tap into that eternal device? I mean, the service will be delivered for the next 4.5 billion years and for free. Why wouldn't we do that? So WakaWaka is a solar powered device that is light and power, because you can also charge your phone and your USB radio and your camera, etc. with it. Also your reading device, even your iPad, and use it for people that are now not connected to any grid. We connect them to the solar grid to use it after sunset. This is it. We've got it here. It gives quite some light. I can show it to you. Here it's in the package, and it gives us light for 80 hours on one day of sunset, on sunshine. And you can charge your phone with it. These are two Syrian girls. The first audiences, or the first clients, so to say, that we have supplied the device with are people in disaster areas, like in Syria. We supplied over 500,000 Syrian refugees with light and power in areas, in these tents where they are bereft of anything. Just imagine there's, I think, 12 million people in Syria without any facilities and just living in by supplying them with light and power which is reliable and was already distributed. They don't have to go back all time and again to collect devices that they would otherwise be using. We have been helping 10,000 people in the Philippines after the Haiyan storm, in Haiti after the earthquake, and we supplied 20,000 Ebola health workers in Sierra Leone, Liberia and Guinea with the lights and the power so that they could treat their patients after sunset, etc. And we discovered that we could do that by selling the same device in the developed world. For example, here Kinergy in Italy is selling it both online and also in shops, even in the bookshop from the Duomo, I was just told, Ripley. But we use the buy one, give one method. Since the purchasing power of people in the West is so much more than it is in developing countries, we devised a scheme which we call Robin Hood pricing. You pay if you pay one, actually you buy two. If you get only one, the other one goes to a family in need somewhere else. But we just don't give it away like that. We use the free but not for nothing method. People are not capable of using their workforce, are not able to develop something within their community, repairing roads, collecting waste, teaching children, planting trees, etc. So we help people to connect to the solar grid, not at a price in hard currency if they don't have it, but they can pay back, so to say, in community service. This is a film that I'm just going to start in a few seconds, and it is showing what we are doing at the moment, piloting in Rwanda. So we discovered that we devised, I mean, it's not our measurement, but it's been calculated by the German Fraunhofer Institute, which is a very thorough German research institute, that sent us back our device because they didn't believe what they measured, because it was twice as efficient as any device in the same category that they had tested before. It's the best technology in the world. It's not my achievement, I can safely say. I'm a simple political scientist, so I can read a newspaper with a diploma, but I collected together with my business partner, Camille van Gestel, the very best people on the different fields, the solar technology, the battery, the LED lights, but also the energy management, because there's a chip on the printed circuit board inside the WakaWaka that produces a highly efficient way of collecting and storing the sun and giving it back again in the form of light and power. So we discovered that the people in Rwanda, who on average 90% of the people live still in the countryside and earn only $1 a day. And even the production costs of the power are many times over that amount they earn every day. So we figured these people are the ones that are most in need of this device, and they keep in poverty because they just cannot escape that circle of poverty, of energy poverty. How can we develop a scheme where they can afford it? So what we did is just like this. This is an introductory film which has been shown to villagers in Rwandan villages. Thank you.
Meet the Maurits family. They live in rural Rwanda and are not connected to the electricity grid. This means that when the sun sets, the family's home is enveloped in darkness. The Maurits spend up to a quarter of their income on light and power. Candles and kerosene lamps are used to cook, study, and work after sunset, but provide poor light and increase the likelihood of household fires and respiratory diseases. Unfortunately, building power plants and power lines to connect the village to the grid is too expensive. So, the family's future doesn't look too bright. Solar power is a clean, safe, and available alternative that provides high-quality light and power. However, the Maurits can't afford to buy a solar-powered device. That's why we came up with an affordable solution. We call it the virtual grid. Based on the WakaWaka power, the world's most efficient solar light and phone charger, this special pay-as-you-go WakaWaka is made available for just a few dollars. Here's how it works. The family buys a $1 scratch card, sends a text with this code and a unique code from their WakaWaka, and instantly receives a text containing an activation code for their unit. The WakaWaka now provides all the light and power the household needs for an entire week. The virtual grid has a positive impact on the family's health, school results, and even provides them with new income-generating opportunities. The Maurits family is not an exception. Over 90% of rural households in Rwanda lack access to electricity, just like another 1.2 billion people on our planet. Let's give them the power to change their world. WakaWaka, share the sun.
That's the way that we wanted to introduce it, but how does it really work? Because the Netherlands, where I come from, is a bit difficult country to introduce new products that are really out of the league of anything that has happened before. But the same holds true, I guess, for Africa. And Africa is a big continent. It contains 55 countries and many more cultures. So how can you do that? And how do you specifically target the group? How do you connect to them? So what we did is we went to village markets. We had a roadshow where we had a 4-hour program with song, dance, theater, and also explanation of how it worked. And what I'm going to show you now is a 1-minute film of what happened, I think half a year ago. We've been testing it for half a year now in order to learn the lessons and scale up the pilot. And I really wanted to share this small video, how it works in practice. Thank you. So what the dairy producer some research already in Kenya, in Western Africa, etc. The quality of the school results of children being able to do the homework after sunset raised considerably, so they were able to learn more about efficient agriculture, etc. But we also realized that light is not the only thing that's necessary. So what we went on doing, also in regards to the very bad air quality inside many of the huts in Africa, Asia, and America, you know that the combined death toll of people dying from respiratory diseases, lung diseases in third world countries is overtaking the number of AIDS and malaria victims by far. I mean, this is disasters that are happening while we are not watching because it's happening in the African and the Asian countryside, and there's no reporter recording it, etc. There's 300,000 people that die every year, mainly women and children, because they are in the huts when there is cooking being done, because they catch fire from a toppling over kerosene lamp, for example. There's 6 million people every year, maimed for life, 6 million people every day, every year, routinely maimed for life by fires caused by kerosene. I mean, these huts are made from wood and straw, there's no water to extinguish the fire, there's no medical facilities. It's a routinely happening disaster going on. So what we designed to do is not only have this lighting device, but also design a very efficient cook stove. This is the WakaWaka cook stove, which will be on the market actually it's the very first time I show this to any audience, because the prototype has just arrived a couple of days in our office after the thorough testing. I can give you the results in a few seconds. This is a cook stove which is also powered, however strange, by the sun, because inside you put biomass. I'll explain to you later. But the miracle to my political science brains is that this does not burn the biomass. It gasifies the biomass. It turns it into methane, CH4, and it connects it to oxygen, and then you have CO2 in renewed quantities and H2O, water vapor, which means that a lot more of the energy in the biomass is being converted into the power, into the heat that you need to cook your food. At the same time, it's very safe because you can touch the surface on the outside, whereas in the inside, it's 1,000 degrees centigrade. And how does it work? You put the biomass in, you burn it for the first few seconds, and then you inject oxygen on all sides. I can't show you the inside now, but on all sides around this cylinder, both underneath and on top, which means that you create a vortex, and it makes the biomass gasify and will burn. And then you burn, of course, the gas, which we in the Netherlands also do. We use what we call natural gas. We take it from our soil. Nature takes 150,000 years to produce methane, natural gas from biomass, but this WakaWaka device does that exactly the same thing in just 2 seconds. So it means that you have a 3 times more efficient use of the biomass, which means that women that now have to fetch the wood and cut the trees, which are very, very much needed to collect the soil and the moisture, etc., to prevent erosion. I mean, apart from all the time-consuming going to the still existing woods and the danger that they run going there and going back again, they also, often in the cities, wood is also used, but in the form of charcoal. It depletes the income of the family big time. So if you reduce that by a factor of 3, you have a real big impact. I use some data. It's called the WakaWaka Mimi model. It's also Swahili and it means I burn fiercely, and it sure does, at 1,000 degrees centigrade. The efficiency high power, which then you produce the most, is just only 1 gram per minute, and that's very, very low in comparison to the freestanding wood fire. It's 16 times more efficient, 16 times. And the same holds true for the particulate matter, with small particles in the air, the PM2.5 to be precise. It's only 16 milligrams per megawatt hour, and that's also 16 times more efficient, cleaner than using the normal freestanding fire method. Well, the volume of the fuel chamber is 1.6 to 0.6 liters. We have small ones and big ones, and it's still stable, as you can see there. The tending intensity to refill in just seconds. You only have to refill it after 20 minutes. You just throw some chips or whatever biomass you have inside. I told you already there's forced air supply, which is powered, and that's a nice thing, which is powered not by battery, because then you would have to buy a battery again. People would throw it into the environment because they have no other way of getting a disposal. No, you power it with your WakaWaka power. So even the cooking is being done also by the power of the sun, which also gives us the opportunity to connect the paying off method that we use in Rwanda. I was just showing it to you. We give the people at a very low threshold the opportunity to use the WakaWaka power, because this is a device that they normally wouldn't be able to afford at a low cost price. In fact, it's a kind of contribution that prevents them from putting it apart, taking it apart, taking the battery, selling it again, and coming back to us for another one. I mean, it's a threshold for proper use, let's say, and then, as I explained earlier, people every week buy a scratch card at a price which is lower, it's very important to mention, which is lower than the amount of money they pay now for buying kerosene or candles. And now we can extend that to this cooking device, because you cannot normally use it. You really need the oxygen being blown into it, otherwise it wouldn't work, because there wouldn't be enough oxygen put into there. So you can expand this whole scheme with the cooking device. Of course, you also, because there's a residue after the burning, and then you can use that as a biochar. It's a very fertile substance that you can use fertilize your soil, and it gives some figures to cooking time on the battery. Battery means the battery of the WakaWaka, of course, which will last for at least 3 years, and then you can replace it. 3 years, which is on 100% intensity, and then it's not dead because you could use it on a 90, 80, 70% efficiency output. So then you will expand the lifetime. But if you would really like to use it on the 100% volume, then you would have to replace it after 3 years. But that's a very, very good battery, as you will know, because normal cheap Chinese batteries only last for a day or two, which is quite different, producing all these environmental problems, which you can see at the countryside, alongside the road, all these batteries leaking heavy metals and other toxic substances. The 2,200 milliampere hours, which is the battery of the WakaWaka Light, will give you 15 hours of cooking time. Well, that's quite some days, I can tell you. The 5,000 is the WakaWaka base, which we're actually producing. Base 5 gives you 33 hours in the 10,000 milliamps. That's the big WakaWaka base, which we're producing at the moment as well. Will give you 67 hours. That's a lot. That's a lot. I said there is a lot of biomass, biochar production. You can use all kinds of pellets. A big advantage of this cooking device is that you cannot use any big branches. So it's no use cutting big trees. So you leave them intact. You can only use very small branches, but preferably you would use pellets, which you can produce, which will be another source of income for people of all kinds of biomass that is currently not used at all, and which is decaying, producing a lot of methane into the air, bad for the environment, and bad for climate change. So you can use that as a way of biomass that you burn into your cook stove. If necessary, you can also burn animal dung, but you can, of course, better use it for fertilizer. Char burning, as I said, that means that you cut trees and then produce charcoal, preferably not, of course, and you use other residues. You can, of course, remove or replace the burning chamber very easily. You can just take it out and topple it over, otherwise you have to, in normal ones, you have to take the whole thing out. That's unnecessary. It means also that when after 20 minutes you want to quickly change the one chamber for another, you can do it. You would only need another very cheap inner burning chamber. You can use even big pans. The dimensions are mentioned this here. I think that this combination has the potential of revolutionizing the countryside in Africa, Asia, and America. We are targeting, as I mentioned before, 1.2 billion people living off-grid, and the 3+ billion people that now still use wood on the three-stone fire to cook their meal. Being off-grid anything, off-grid banking system, off-grid power system, off-grid telephone lines, off-grid water supply, off-grid water purification, off-grid almost anything, used to be a big disadvantage, contributing to the poverty, the huge poverty, but the poverty at large for billions of people. But the unique thing is that we are in a moment of time that being off-grid now becomes an advantage, because all those people do not have to invest hundreds of thousands of billions of euros anymore in order to install those grids and to maintain them, because these grids are not necessary anymore. I mean, the sun, the energy is already there, it is distributed. You just have to capture it and to make it available at the time and in the form that you need it. The same holds true for water and water purification. You already have seen the revolution in telephones. There are no landlines in Africa. People don't need them anymore. So we are in a unique moment in time that Africa, Asia, Latin America, the very poor people, thanks to modern technology, can leapfrog a century and develop a future which is also economically much more advantageous than the situation that they've been in before. With WakaWaka, we try to help to solve that energy poverty problem, to help solve the poverty problem, but also to connect what we call the developed world to the world which is the off-grid, the non-connected world, also in the minds of people. As I said, we use the Bible Gibbon method, and we don't throw, as a charity, things over the fence. We really respect people for the efforts that they make of pulling themselves out of the poverty into using their intelligence,